South Africa has been plunged into chaos and a state of disbelief after an enraged population set President Ramaphosa's private residence on fire last night, and what started as a tense protest outside his luxurious compound in Johannesburg quickly turned into a violent uprising that left the nation in shock. According to eyewitnesses, thousands of citizens congregated outside the home of the president, holding placards and chanting slogans, calling for justice and accountability, and frustrations have been building in the crowd for weeks amid growing reports of corruption scandals, economic collapse, and political secrecy within the ANC. Many protesters accused Ramaphosa of betraying the people and living in luxury while the nation is suffering, and the situation spiraled out of control shortly after midnight when protesters began hurling stones, bottles, and burning tires toward the heavily guarded property. Despite attempts by police to disperse the crowd with rubber bullets and stun grenades, the anger only intensified, and moments later smoke was seen rising from the western wing of the mansion as parts of the structure caught fire. Within minutes the flames spread rapidly through the compound, lighting up the night sky and drawing shocked onlookers from nearby neighborhoods, while security forces struggled to regain control. Several vehicles were torched and at least 2 police officers were injured in the chaos, while firefighters arrived hours later to battle the blaze, with much of the property already consumed by flames. By dawn, only charred remains of the once glorious presidential residence stood, a haunting symbol of the people's rage, and sources close to the presidency said President Ramaphosa was not at home during the incident. Intelligence officials reportedly advised him to relocate to a secure undisclosed location earlier in the evening, with there being warnings of growing hostility around the area, but his absence has done little to calm public anger. To many citizens, his silence means he is afraid, while others say he has lost complete control of events, and inside ANC circles, panic and fear have gripped top officials. Senior members are reportedly moving under heavy security, while some have gone into hiding, fearing they could be next on the public's list of targets. An anonymous ANC insider revealed, "Many of us are terrified. The people are no longer just protesting. They are taking action. The message is clear. They hold the entire ANC responsible for the suffering in this country." Tensions within the party are also escalating, with reports of internal disagreements over how to handle the growing unrest. While some members call for Ramaphosa's immediate resignation to restore calm, others believe stepping down would only embolden the angry masses. Opposition leaders use the crisis to highlight what they describe as decades of corruption and failure under ANC rule. On social media, the nation is ablaze with reactions. Hashtags such as #Ramaphosa House Burns, #PeoplePower, and #ANCNext have gone viral with thousands of posts expressing both outrage and grim satisfaction. Videos showing the burning mansion have been shared widely, with many citizens describing it as a turning point in South African history, a moment when the people finally said enough is enough. Economists and political analysts warn that unless some swift action is taken, things may spiral further out of control. South Africa is already battling high unemployment, inflation, and an unstable currency. The violent unrest, they say, may deter investors and deepen the economic crisis. International reactions have started to pour in, with neighboring countries expressing concern over the escalating violence. Several human rights groups have called for calm and urged the South African government to address the root causes of the public's anger rather than relying solely on police crackdowns. By morning, the area surrounding Ramaphosa's residence was cordoned off with a heavy police and military presence. Forensic teams have begun investigations into the cause of the blaze, though many believe it was an act of deliberate arson carried out as a political statement, and in the heart of Soweto, where protests first erupted, residents say the burning of the president's house was a message that can be ignored. One protester told local reporters, "We are tired of empty promises. The rich politicians live in mansions while our children go to bed hungry. We have been peaceful for too long. Now they will feel our pain." The destruction of Ramaphosa's home marks one of the darkest and most symbolic moments in South Africa's recent political history, and for the first time in decades the ruling ANC faces a crisis not only of leadership but of survival. As the sun rises over the smoldering ruins of Ramaphosa's once guarded mansion, the country stands at a crossroads, and the flames that consumed the house have ignited something far more powerful: a nationwide reckoning. Now, as fear grips ANC ranks and citizens demand change, one question dominates the national conversation: has South Africa finally reached its breaking point? And if so, what comes next?